gotta be honest, it was hard to get you the audition. I go, why? He goes, because this is what the woman said. We love Graham, but we don't think he's taking it seriously. And I started laughing and I go, John, you know, you're right. The next time I'm doing a fundraiser for wounded warriors or people coming back from Iraq, I'll try to keep up with the Kardashians. And he starts laughing and he goes, come on, Graham. I go, okay, I'll try. And we're getting there and there's just a couple of us waiting and this producer comes in late and he's bitching and he's yelling at his staff because they fucked up a Starbucks order. And I'm just sitting there like, this motherfucker. And he's like, okay, who are you, Graham? All right, tell us a little bit about yourself. I said, well, I just got back from entertaining the troops in Iraq, and all of a sudden his attitude, oh, thank you, and all this. And I was saying, you punk Hollywood bitch, without saying it to his face. Because I was just like, yeah, I was in a war zone entertaining the military, and it really changed. And I said, like, you really see what's important and what isn't. And I just paused and looked at him like, I'd fucking slap that Starbucks out of your fucking hand. Like, I know 19-year-olds who, oh, this is my first ever comedy show. I grew up in small town USA, and my first ever comedy show is at a fucking fire base. Right. And I got to listen to this punk bitch complain because it's like, I'm mad right now when I think about it. So I was like, I can't. And I was just like, I was really wrestling with, do I even want to be in Hollywood? But then I saw the benefit of frivolous entertainment. I wasn't doing political material in war zones. They don't need to hear it. Right. They're living the failure of politics. Right. Yeah. And I was going over there doing silly stuff and making fun of myself. And they would tell me this Scott Kennedy, look him up. He went over there over 50 times. He passed away in 2013. Scott Kennedy was an amazing guy. Brought me to Afghanistan 3 times. We were in Iraq and we were set to hit these 3 fire bases to do shows. Scott was all about going to the small fire bases. And we're sitting on the tarmac outside of BIOP, which is the main base in Baghdad. And he gets a call and he's like, all right, this base, they had a firefight last night and 2 guys died. So the base is shut down. There's no comedy show. And I was like, oh God. And I started to feel like, oh, I'm an idiot. Oh, I'm just some stupid comedian. These families are getting the worst news. These guys are putting it all on the line. Whether you agree with the war or not, these young guys are putting it all on the line. Right.
The horrible fact of Vietnam that they didn't get thought of like that.
Yeah.
Anyways.
They're all working class kids.
Right.
You want to end war? Let's let Ivanka Trump and Hunter Biden go fucking fight. Then when the wars will goddamn end. Anyway, so I felt like dumb. I was like Scott, and he was going over there once a month. All we did was go to small bases because he knew the small bases, they didn't have anything. The big bases had like subways. Not that they had it easy at the big base, but by comparison. Right. And he goes, Graham, he literally he's like, Graham, I had a commander tell me that whenever a comedy show comes through the base, the suicide rate drops. He goes, we're saving lives. I can't. He goes, this is our mission. I'm going to get to these bases later in a couple months when things cool down. I'm going to get us other shows today. We have a mission. And I was like, okay, I need to shut the fuck up, stop crying. Let's get it. And I was like, Roger that. Right. And when he told me that, the suicide rate dropped when comedy shows would come through the bases. Because these kids are young, their first time on a plane was a C-17 to goddamn Kandahar or Baghdad or some shit. Right. And I saw how important doing comedy over there was. And so that's where I was like, well, there's a place for frivolous entertainment. There's a place for popcorn. Because I would come back from these war zones, and I just went there for 2 weeks, and I needed to go watch a Superman movie or what, I needed to watch some silly nonsense to get my mind off of this. And what I went through was 1/1000th of what a combat vet is going through on a 12-month deployment.